Today's episode of Necronomipod is brought to you by Beardology. There are a lot of imitators out there, but there's only one place I buy my beard oil. Beardology beard oil nourishes your skin and won't leave you with that greasy feel. With over 17 cents available in their extensive product line, I trust my beard to Beardology. You can find Beardology at beardology.co. Use code NECRO15 to receive 15% off your purchase. Beardology. Discover the best way to avoid the shave. In 1947, an aircraft of unknown origins crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. Many UFO enthusiasts believe this to be one of the largest government cover-ups in U.S. history. Today, we explore the story of Roswell and discuss how and why the government may have tried to cover it up. We'll also discuss other common theories associated with what might have happened that night back in July 1947. And if we can get Ian a little pissed off, that'll be a nice bonus. I'm Mike.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Dave. If you believe the Air Force's version of events in Roswell, stick around. Ian is going to fight you. This is Necronomipod.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago.
Okay, before we get started today, I just want to throw out that one of our listeners is battling cancer. I just wanted to give out her GoFundMe page. It's gofundme.com/help-heather-stay-cancer-free. A little hard to remember, but we'll post it. So I donated today. I would just invite any of our listeners who are able, check out her page and donate if you can. I'm sure anything at all helps. Fighting cancer alone is fucking terrifying enough, let alone the added financial stress. So good luck, Heather. We're all pulling for you here.
Today, Ian, it looks like we're going to revisit the long-lost episodes that you and I did once upon a time.
Yeah.
This was our test episode back before Dave was even involved.
Before we were just fucking around with this idea.
Right. Before we became podcast extraordinaires like we are now.
So it's BD before Dave.
Yeah, it was BD.
Yep.
This was about, 3 months ago? 3 months BD.
3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, we didn't know what the fuck
Dark
we were
ages,
doing back
you
then.
fuckers.
Yeah, right. We had to talk you into doing this. You didn't want nothing to do with
That's
it.
true. I had to
So
be
instead,
convinced.
Ian and I sat around here talking about Roswell multiple times, just trying to get the kinks out and figure out what the hell we were doing.
Yep.
And now we're back at it.
Yeah.
Hopefully going to do a well-done, professional, award-winning podcast.
It's an interesting story.
I even wore my Cactus Jack shirt for tonight for New Mexico.
Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
Shattered my dreams on that.
That's right.
Oh, that it wasn't real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Mick Foley was.
That he wasn't really from there, yeah.
Yeah, right.
It was a gimmick.
Yeah.
I've been to Truth or Consequences. New Mexico is not that exciting. So.
You know who's not been there? Cactus Jack. Yeah, that bummed you out for that big time.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be good because we had some fans that have been wanting some alien stuff. We haven't really touched on. I mean, I guess Mothman to an extent. We get into, but that kind of goes a different route.
Right.
So
we did Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah.
Which is the big abduction one, the first one,
And Betty Hill was a lovely, lovely person.
Well, there's theories. There's different theories on that.
Very credible person.
Right.
Fine, upstanding citizen.
Yeah. Ask Barney Hill about that. She drove him to death.
It's outrageous.
So, yeah, I mean, this is the other big one.
This is kind of like the granddaddy story. Like
Yeah.
everybody, even I have heard of Roswell. I didn't know the story, but I had heard of it.
Right.
Well, it all started here, right? There's not any reported alien landings or anything similar prior to this, right?
No, not really.
Well, I thought Betty and Barney Hill was the first widely reported
abduction.
But
that was in the
abduction, right.
60s,
Abduction.
right.
Right.
But I don't think there were many, 20s and 30s, there weren't many.
There was in the 40s, there was like a UFO craze going on with everybody reporting them, stuff like that. But no
The Foo Fighters, right?
Yeah.
No, they call the Foo Fighters.
Right,
Yeah.
but no crashes or
Right.
anything.
Okay.
I mean, there's a couple stories out there from, I think there's one from like 1857 that gets a little weird from in Texas. But I mean, this one, we cover this one and then we can branch out to other shit. I figured this is a good one to
Yeah. Okay.
get
Fun
in.
little story.
Short story is 1947, an aircraft of unknown origin crashed in southeastern New Mexico, 33 miles southeast in a town called Corona. So
now I want a beer. Thanks.
so that's what people like UFO, like people that take it very serious, think it should be called the Corona incident or like the Corona crash.
But it was really like it was a small town.
All that lost glory that Corona could never achieved.
Well, here's to them.
It's a very loud beer cracking.
And this is it's such a big deal with this one too because it's the only one that allegedly has physical material from a crash.
Yeah, it wasn't just a sighting. There was actual debris from what might have happened.
Yeah.
And didn't we cover in the Art Bell episode that Art had some supposed Roswell material, right?
Yeah.
Art's parts. Art's parts.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
And half our listeners won't even know because no one listened to fucking Art Bell episode.
Least downloaded episode.
Oh, that
offensive.
kills me because it was so awesome. Go if you have not listened to Art Bell, please go back. This will be the last time we make a plea for it.
There was a Blumpkin in the
There
episode.
was.
Not in this room, at Olivia Wilde's house.
We should
Just
clarify
that.
It was a good episode. It was fun. It was something different too.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I told you guys. I was talking to someone. I don't know if it was on one of the socials, but they had suggested that, like, in tribute to Art Bell, every Halloween we do an Art Bell show.
That'd be cool.
Play some of his clips and because he used to do his Halloween specials, right?
Yeah, his ghost story.
And I actually thought that was a
Halloween.
badass
Great.
idea to
I
kind of do
like
like an
that.
Art Bell episode. Problem is, 200 people will listen to it. It seems like.
Well, whoever put that out there, it's a great idea.
Yeah, I can't remember who did. Somebody out there who's a fan of ours
Great
suggested
idea.
it. I can't remember who it was. If it was one of my buddies or a listener. Either way, I think it's a good idea. So,
Yeah, for sure.
so Roswell.
So UFO activity began the night before the alleged crash on July 1st, 1947. Radar activity in Roswell, White Sands, Albuquerque, and Alamogordo began tracking an object that had speeds and maneuverability like nothing anyone had ever seen before.
So how do we know those radar reports?
Well,
Eyewitness accounts
allegedly.
from the base later. Okay.
There's a lot of, well, you know, I should have said from right off the top, this is a very confusing, muddy story.
There's a lot of cover-ups and conspiracies.
And there's a lot of people that have given their own twist on this. And this is what I figured was the best way to kind of narrow this down. Allegedly is going to be the word used a lot.
Right. Makes sense.
The next night on July 2nd, 1947, at 9 p.m., Dan Wilmot and his wife saw an object fly over their house, and they described it as saucer-shaped and that it glowed bright white. And about an hour and a half after the Wilmots claimed to have seen the object, the same radar systems from the night before picked up the object streak across the screen and explode.
So we sure it's not 4th of July fireworks going on out here?
Well, this is what we talked about this when we did the test episode. Like, I don't understand how they would tell that it exploded on the screen. You know what
maybe
I mean?
it just
'Cause-
fell off a radar, but how can they tell it exploded?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, what are they seeing on a radar that would show explosion?
Right. Like, I picture like shitty Atari graphics with like Space Invaders or something. It just like just shoots
air
off.
sea battle when you.
Right.
I don't
Well-
think radar works like that.
And I think, but I think something that could kind of maybe kill the firework theory is what I think we're about to get into is there was severe thunderstorms going on at this time. They're probably not shooting off fireworks in a severe thunderstorm, but I think the severe thunderstorm itself, you can get your own theories out of that. If lightning striking something or a tree or, whatever else it might be hitting out
Right.
here in Corona or in Roswell.
At the same time, there was a severe thunderstorm hitting the area at Foster's Ranch right outside of Corona. And ranch hand Mac Brazel said that he and his wife heard a sound that was much louder than any of the thunder that night. So they were just outside watching the thunderstorm.
What else is there to do out there?
Yeah, nothing.
Just gonna watch the storm come in.
Right, because he lived in a one-room shack that had no running water and no electricity, so
That sounds great.
not much to do.
So thunderstorms like must-see TV for them.
Right. And meanwhile, in Roswell, William Woody, his father, Mother Superior Bernadette, and Sister Capistrano witnessed a white object with a red tail behind it falling from the sky.
Wait, so Willie Woody and his old man were partying with the nuns?
Yeah.
What were they doing?
I just think they're three separate witnesses that all reported the same thing.
Oh, okay.
That's how I took it.
I took it as actually the four of them were together, and that's what I was wondering.
Well, maybe they had a viewing party for the storm, because what else are you going to do? It's like the Super Bowl.
It's true.
You make buffalo chicken dip, you get together and you watch a storm. You drink some LaCroix. I don't know.
They
How
were
people
praying
party?
the rosary.
They very well could have. I don't know.
Maybe they were doing other stuff. Maybe those nuns had a bad habit of doing things they shouldn't.
Maybe they did drugs. And that's why they're seeing aliens.
And then at the same time that they witnessed the object from a separate vantage point, Corporal E.L. Piles also saw a white glowing object fall from the sky. So all this is going on at the same time between Corona and Roswell.
And these
There's
are all different reports that had come out after kind of the fact of these witnesses allegedly seeing this same thing.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot of corroborating, eyewitness accounts from varying vantage points around the area. So
Yeah.
it's credible so far.
So the next day, on July 3rd, 1947, back in Corona, Mac Brazel and his ranch hand Dee Proctor were tending to the sheep. They were herding them to the only source of water they had on the ranch when they came across a field of debris. They claimed that the debris was about 3/4 of a mile long and about 200 to 300 feet wide, that his sheep just refused to go anywhere near it.
It's a pretty big debris field.
Yeah. Along with the debris, he said there was a gouge in the ground, and whatever caused it was so hot that it turned the surrounding sand into glass.
So clearly something crashed here.
Yeah, something happened. And I know they said too that the gouge was like it wasn't that far into the ground. Like it wasn't like something just came down and hit, like it skipped across.
Like a
Like
crash
skidded.
landing type thing,
Yeah,
maybe. Okay.
but it was like something light, just like skipped across. It wasn't a deep gouge.
Right.
So Mac led the sheep around to the edge of the debris to the water, and he found a 10-foot piece of wreckage that he loaded up into his truck and stored in his livestock shed. Later at a local bar, Mac mentioned that he needed someone to come out to Foster's ranch and help him clean up whatever was out there, because that's all he was concerned
That's
about.
my favorite part of this story so far, is that like he didn't give a shit. He's just like,
No.
I need to get this out of here because my sheep need to get to the water.
Right,
so
exactly.
Can someone just help me
Aliens,
move this
whatever.
shit? Yeah, whatever. Get the fuck off my land. My sheep need to drink.
Yeah, it's just a huge pain in his ass trying to...
Poor Mac.
Right. Like we said before, he had no electricity, no running water, just lived in this shack, and he relied on a monthly newspaper to get any information from the
Monthly
outside world.
newspaper.
Yeah, right, monthly. So he had no idea that there was kind of like a UFO craze going around in the U.S. with people reporting UFOs all the time.
So was this craze just out in the Southwest or across the whole country at that time?
It was across the whole country
Okay.
at this time, yeah.
I would imagine it's probably people feeding off each other too, and wanting to see something,
Right.
And other people seeing things, kind of like with post World War II testing the government was doing.
Operation Paperclip was going hard at this time,
Right.
where we took all the Nazi scientists in and were testing their rocket technology and stuff.
So there was a lot of things up in the air that people probably are
for
going to
sure.
see that they're not necessarily aware of.
Right.
Maybe the monthly newspaper hadn't shown up in a few weeks, so they were behind on the times, and people seeing things. And then, like I said, I think other people wanting to see things are just saying they're seeing things.
FOMO.
Yeah. Hashtag Betty Gilbert. Betty Gilbert. Betty Hill.
Who's Betty Gilbert?
I don't know. Who the fuck Betty
Is that an old sweetheart of yours from grade school?
I
Betty
promise
Gilbert?
not.
So someone at the bar told Mac that there was an ad in the newspaper that was offering $3,000 for any proof of a flying saucer.
So who's offering that?
somebody out
Well, it's
there.
because of the craze going on.
Yeah.
You know,
Like to cash in on if somebody actually has proof.
I guess so.
Yeah.
If it's sweeping the country, the newspapers want to look for something.
Just the newspaper itself, then. Maybe.
And I'm
Okay.
sure that offering
All right.
$3,000 never attracted any wackos trying to collect on that.
Yeah, they probably got some wild.
People showing up with like tin foil and like coat hangers, like, look at what I found.
In an attempt to get the reward money, or at minimum, just get somebody to help him get out there and clean up all this shit. He gathered up some of the debris into a shoebox and drove to the police station in Roswell the next day. So that's July 4th. He's driving into Roswell. The first person Mac went to see with the debris was a local sheriff, George Wilcox. Wilcox obviously did not take him serious.
So he drove into Roswell. So Wilcox probably wasn't familiar with who Mac was.
No, not at all. Because
Okay.
it was like, I think,
Because I know it was a small town, but it was a different town.
yeah, I think it was like 75 miles away
Oh,
or
so-
something.
so
So it's a
clearly didn't
decent
know.
drive, yeah.
I just didn't know if maybe he knew who he was and for whatever reason they didn't take Mac seriously because he was known to make stuff up or, you know, something like that.
No, he's just a random guy walking in there with a shoebox full of shit.
Well, I mean, and we can speculate about his appearance if he lives in a one-room shack with no running water.
Agreed.
Exactly. Wilcox got a call from a local radio host named Frank Joyce, and he was just looking to see if there was anything to report on for the day. And Wilcox saw that as like the perfect thing. Like, here, I'll pass him off to Frank Joyce.
It's your problem now.
Right. So Mac told Joyce a short story, a short recounting of what happened. And Joyce immediately suggested that Mac call the local Army airfield to report it to them, which makes sense. And Wilcox should have kind of, he should have recommended the same thing because Roswell Army Airfield, the 509th, was the only armed nuclear airfield in the world at the time.
Right.
Like when we dropped the bomb on Japan, it flew out of the 509th. So if anything crashed, anything weird looking, they would.
Might want to know about it.
Right, yeah.
Is this before the Air Force became their own branch? They're still part of the Army?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is still just the Army. So yeah, because the Trinity test came out of here too.
And that's what created the Hills Have Eyes people, right?
Is it?
Remember the movie The Hills Have Eyes?
Yeah.
Weren't they out there in
That's
the,
I
in
forgot
the
about that
desert?
movie.
And like an old testing ground?
Yes.
Old nuclear
Yeah.
testing
Have you
ground?
seen that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because where they set up, fake towns. With,
Right.
With
And then they
dummies
blow
and
them,
stuff.
and they blow
to
them
see what
up.
it looked like
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
testing.
Yeah. You can still find those videos online too. They're pretty creepy to watch.
Oh, yeah.
The bombs going off.
What's the backwoods people? Is that like the sequel to Hills Have Eyes?
The backwoods.
Yeah, like just like deformed backwoods people that are
That's what they-
setting traps for people and stuff.
Wrong Turn in
Wrong
West Virginia.
turn. Wrong
yeah.
turn.
Oh,
That's-
yeah.
That's what I was thinking
Wrong
of.
Turn's awesome.
I have that on DVD actually.
Oh, that's great. Eliza Dushku.
Yeah. What happened to her?
She's still hot as far as I can tell.
Like Demi Lovato hot?
Oh, yeah.
No. The answer is no. Sorry.
That was in West Virginia, though, that story.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
All right. See you guys next week.
So Wilcox, he ultimately agreed to call it into the Roswell AAF, and they dispatched Major Jesse Marcel to see what was going on. And if it wasn't for Jesse Marcel, then we would have no Roswell story at all. That afternoon, Marcel and an intelligence officer, Sheridan Cavett, traveled with Mac to go view the wreckage, but because of bad road conditions, they arrived too late in the day to go out to the site. So instead, they spent the night in Mac's no electricity shack eating cold beans and crackers.
Mike's kind of gourmet meal. Now you're talking.
I'll tell you right now.
Cold food out of a can.
There's nothing wrong with that. I know you guys give me shit about it, but one, Campbell's Chunky Soup, you do not need to add water to. And two, Chef Boyardee, SpaghettiOs, beefaroni, whatever that shit is, you literally just pop the top off. You can eat it right out of the can. You don't have to warm it up. You only have to dirty up a spoon, so that's all you have to wash. You don't need to put it in a bowl or a plate. It's fucking delicious. I highly recommend you guys try it next time you're looking for a canned snack.
No, I'm good.
I don't eat any.
But you guys don't
canned
just
snacks.
eat that stuff. So it's can't really have an argument
I
about
don't know if I
it.
measure up to your sophisticated palate, my friend.
Well, I'm telling you what, there's some of those Campbell's Chunky Soups that are bomb. They are amazing.
You eat like a homeless person.
Well, I eat like fucking Mac
A homeless
Brazel.
person without fucking sterno can to light and heat up his can.
Well, I don't need to heat it up. It's just as good straight out of the cupboard. I suggest and recommend everyone out there try it. Save yourself the hassle of doing the dishes of cleaning a bowl. It's
All right,
fantastic.
the logistical part of it I can see. All right.
You just open it up and it tastes just as good. Probably even better, actually.
Do you recycle the can, though?
Well, I do now.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I try to. I don't always remember. Sometimes I throw it away. What do you want from me? I don't need the green people coming after me now for not recycling my cans. I try to recycle as much as I can.
Okay. Good deal.
That being said, I have no problem with this dinner. Cold beans and crackers. Now, the military guy's probably not loving this. Staying in the shack.
No. I picture it like...
How many drugs do you think they did this night? I mean, it's cold. You're in a shack. There's no electricity.
That's a good night for shrooms out in the New Mexico desert,
Yes.
right?
I'd be
It's a
seeing
shroom night.
debris and little people running around too, probably.
Where are all these drug dealers back in the 40s and 60s that you're...
I'm going to tell you right now, Mac Brazel might very well be a drug dealer. I don't know.
Just a quick disclaimer, Necronomipod does not support or encourage the use of mushrooms.
It's very true.
Yeah, I,
Just wanted to clarify
But if you
that.
do, then awesome. Good for you. Enjoy.
for sure.
So how far after July 3rd are we at this point? Are we a couple days later?
We're at July 5th.
Okay, so only 2 days
Believe
later.
this whole story like happens in like within like a week.
It's like 8 days.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
couldn't tell if there was a substantial time delay there.
Yeah, so we're at July 5th right now.
That's pretty quick in getting someone to come out and investigate.
Yeah, and I think it's just
the most
because
part.
it's like highly competent people
Right.
at this place, and
You're talking about the motherfucker who's sitting in a shack eating beans and crackers is the highly competent person?
No, I'm talking about the airfield.
Gotcha.
And that's what makes it so weird about how they handled this initially. And it's just bizarre.
They stumbled.
Yeah. So the next morning on July 5th, they go out to look at the wreckage. Marcel described it as that he was very surprised at the amount of the debris. Later, he realized that the materials were something that he had never seen before.
Marcel again being Jesse Marcel, who was with the Air Force Base.
Right. Him and then Cav Cavett was an intelligence officer.
Major Jesse Marcel and Cav Cavett, the intelligence officer.
Well, Marcel was the chief intelligence officer, wasn't
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
There's just a lot of names in the story, so it's
Yeah. It's
like to
hard
try to keep them straight.
track.
What they found were pieces of very thin, very light, and very strong aluminum-like metal that could not be bent, cut, scratched, or burned. They also found many thin I-beams that were about 18 to 30 inches long. They were also extremely light and could not be damaged. The I-beams also had writing on them that was described to be like a pinkish purple color, but wasn't, it was just like intelligible stuff. They also found thread-like wire that could not be damaged, a seamless black box that could not be opened. That's what they found.
That's a little out there already. How do you explain that?
Right?
If it's true. Because I think we find later that Marcel likes to tell some tall tales,
Yeah,
right?
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
This is another. We were talking about how it's strange on how they handled things. There were just people living in the area that were showing up to look at the wreckage and touching it and shit. Like there were little kids out there grabbing stuff and playing with it.
Because by now the word had spread and that this was
Right.
out there. And
I'm sure it's a big event. Yeah.
well, poor Mac Brazel was just trying to find people to help him move shit.
But you would figure two high up intelligence officers would like lock this down. Take this a little more serious.
No matter what this was, it was a poorly run like investigation.
Right, yeah.
And you would think, like you had said, coming from a reputable Air Force base, they might have treated this a little differently.
Right.
Which makes you think that if the alien story was the cover-up and it was just, government weapons testing or something like that, they'd have been a lot quicker out of the gate trying to get this stuff out of there and make the story go away.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, just kind of just not really caring about stuff. Marcel and Cavett loaded up some of the debris and put it into the trunk of Marcel's car. And then Cavett took some of the debris home with him and woke up his wife and his child that night to come look at the wreckage and play around with it.
So one of the descriptions of the metal is that they were able to squeeze it and it would return back to its shape like fluid metal.
Yeah.
Kind of like the T-1000 in Terminator 2.
Right.
Like crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, they said it would. Yeah, you could just like crunch it up into a ball, and it would just come back to.
Yeah. It's a T-1000 model.
And I mean, I guess you could make the argument that at this time it wasn't classified yet, and it was probably going to be soon. It was going to be classified real quick, and they were never going to get to look at it again. So he took it out there to show his wife and his kid, like, "Hey, look at this crazy shit, because you're not going to see it again after this."
Nor is anyone else.
Later, according to Cavit's wife, Mary Cavit, Jesse Marcel had kept a piece of the wreckage for himself. And during one of their weekly bridge game, they had a weekly bridge game that they played. I believe this is on July 6th. Jesse and Cav spent some time trying to figure out a way to damage the metal. They had put it on, they were trying to burn it, whatever. They heated up a pot of boiling water on the stove and were throwing it in boiling water, like just completely
Doing whatever they could just to try to fuck it up.
But no care if this is like radioactive or what this really is. They were just fucking around with it. And then Cav reminded Marcel that the wreckage they had was now considered to be top secret, and they shouldn't have any on them anymore.
Yeah, maybe not.
Right. And according to Mary, the two of them went outside with the metal and came back in the house with nothing. So it sounds like they just whipped it off into the desert. And
Mary, keep your
buried it or
mouth shut. What the hell are you ratting these guys out for?
So is this from the book later that Mary makes this claim?
This is all Stanton Friedman tracked there. Like once Jesse Marcel told Stanton Friedman the story, then he went and tracked it. Him and Bill Moore went and tracked everybody down.
Okay.
And because they wrote, well, Bill Moore wrote the book and Stanton Friedman co-authored it. And this is the other part of this story that's just really strange on how they handled it. On July 8th, 1947, the Army released an official statement stating they had recovered a flying saucer, and they named Jesse Marcel as the person who recovered it. The statement also said that Marcel was transporting the wreckage to higher headquarters for further study.
Yeah, so who wrote that statement?
And why would they just put it out there to the public like that?
And I'm sure it goes nationwide immediately, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this kind of, I'll just jump into it a little bit now, I guess. My theory is that this was some kind of government test that was happening that they did not want people to know about. They told them to put out some kind of other story, and somehow down the chain of command, it got interpreted as call it a flying saucer. When higher ups heard that they said that, they probably retracted and said, no, that's not what we wanted you to say. We wanted you to cover it up, but don't say flying saucer, because now we got to deal with that.
Right.
And then that's kind of what happened. That's my own theory about this in my head.
Yeah, well, I'll go into it later, but I kind of think that this was almost like a happy accident that they said flying saucer, because then it gives them the ability to spread further disinformation.
So you think it might have been a mistake that they said it?
Yeah.
They probably shouldn't have. It's kind of agreeing with me.
Right.
But then it was like, oh, well, let people believe that then, and we can just kind of take it all, taking away from this actual whatever it might be test that we're doing.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
So, and like you said, it went nationwide, and Frank Joyce got back in touch with Mac Brazel, and he got in touch with him for an interview about what he had found. And in this interview, Frank Joyce claims that Mac said that there were little people that were dead in the wreckage. Joyce said that he pressed Mac, saying that the government tested rockets with monkeys, and maybe that's what he saw were dead monkeys out in the desert. And Mac insisted that they weren't monkeys, and they weren't human. And according to Joyce, shortly before Mac's interview was to air, the station got a phone call from the secretary for the FCC, and the call was warning the station that if they aired the interview, they would have their broadcasting license revoked, citing national security reasons.
So Mac Brazel, the guy who lived in the shack, who first discovered this wreckage,
Right.
tried to casually get his sheep to walk past it. They wouldn't. Went to a bar, mentioned the wreckage, never once brought up people or beings or creatures. Now he does this interview with Frank Joyce, the radio guy, and is talking about little creatures, right?
But this is also Frank Joyce saying this years and years later.
Because the interview actually never aired.
Right.
Because maybe
the
his
FCC
career
stopped him,
had waned
stepped
at
in.
that point, and he was embellishing to try to
Art Bell would have aired the fucking interview. And he'd have told him to kiss his ass, he's airing it.
They would have knocked him off the air.
They would have knocked him off the air
right.
like they did that one time.
Right.
And he would have got back on and kept going.
Backup generator.
It's such a good episode, people. Go
Guys,
listen to Art Bell.
I was so close. I was about 20 miles away from Pahrump last week, and I wanted to detour to see if I could go find Art's old house, but I never made it over there.
That would have been awesome. That'd have been cool.
Joyce also claims that they received another phone call from Senator Dennis Chavez with the same warning about national security. And I get it. If something crashed out there, it would be a national security issue.
No matter what it is, probably, sure.
Look what happened with War of the Worlds. People freaked out over,
That's a good story.
Yeah. People freaked out over that. The subject of the bodies is the most debated and just contradictory part of the story. Some accounts say that the aliens are still alive. Some say that they were hanging out of the wreckage or found in the field away from the wreckage. Some say there weren't bodies at all.
Well, I know they found a body because I saw it in Independence Day when
Another
Will
Independence
Smith
Day
was
reference.
out there.
Yeah. Now, if we're going to talk about true stories, I believe that one.
It's what alien technology they used to attack the motherships and save planet Earth.
Yeah.
So we could declare our independence.
And there was the
Second time.
autopsy.
The second time.
Remember back in the 90s? The autopsy?
Yeah.
That's on Netflix.
Is that a movie?
It was like what was it? It was on Fox, right? It was like
It was a joke, is what it was.
well, yeah, it wasn't real.
Fox would never do that.
I think it was the same guys that made the Faces of Death movie.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was
They
like
went through and explained how they faked everything.
it was a special. It was supposed to be like actual footage from the Roswell
An autopsy, yeah.
It's on Netflix. It's hilarious.
Is
It's
it?
ridiculous.
That might be worth checking out.
Yeah. It's only like a half hour long or whatever.
It was like secret smuggled footage that they got out of
out
of Area 51. Is that
Or
where they said they had the
something.
bodies?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Wasn't Fox the same station that used to do like Secrets of Pro Wrestling revealed and Secrets of Magic revealed and all that bullshit?
Al
That's kinda
Capone's
like-
vault.
Did they do that one too? Probably.
That's kind of what this is like. Yeah.
They would get alleged former professional wrestlers and put them under hoods, and then they would give all the secrets away on how to do it.
Oh, I know what you're
You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And magicians and stuff
And they would
like
do
that.
the ones, and they would give away
Yeah.
all the secrets of the
Right.
business just to get the ratings spike. And
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is like. I remember watching it as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
It was cool.
cool.
And I watched it. I want to say it was like only like 4 or 5 months ago. I watched it, and Angie came out in the living room. She's like, "What the fuck are you watching?" Because it's
Fucking
all
alien autopsy. What does it look like?
You mean this long and you guys have been together? She's still shocked by the things that you watch.
Well, no, it's all shitty because it's like this guy wearing a leather jacket, and he walks around the corner, and he's like narrating it and stuff. She's like, "What the fuck is this?"
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to make a video like that one time.
I mean, and then in Day After Roswell, Philip Corso's book, supposedly one of the aliens was still alive, and a soldier came around and shot it, like freaked out and shot it, and everyone's like, "What the fuck? You can't just start shooting stuff." Like,
Right.
it's really, there's a lot of different stories, and there's a lot of different,
That was in whose book? Philip Corso?
Day After Roswell.
But he kind of took some like liberties with all the stories.
Oh,
right?
his is like an action
like
movie.
he turns this into like a bit like a sci-fi action type thing.
Oh yeah, it's a good book.
But
it's
does he
entertaining.
sell it as like
Truth?
nonfiction?
Oh yeah, he sells it as complete truth. There's a if anybody has the Coast to Coast subscription, there's a good episode with him. It's like 3 hours long talking about Roswell. Yeah. The general consensus on the bodies as far as what they looked like would be like your classic gray, short, like 3 feet tall, big head, the slant, like almond, slanted eyes,
Like what
big.
was discovered in the Betty and Barney Hill one, kind of.
Yeah.
What they allegedly saw.
Is this the first time that description came out? The gray?
If you believe the people that say that there were bodies, this would be it. But
Okay.
this didn't come out until after Betty and Barney Hill said,
Because the book was written later.
Right,
So they
so-
very well could have adopted the Hills description.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
if you-
sense.
realistically, Betty and Barney Hill would be the first time that
Okay.
the actual description of the
grays.
modern day, the gray alien would be.
So, like, looking back at, like, the movie Independence Day, that's a spin-off of a Gray, like the alien they use in that, or is that just a completely their own adaptation?
I don't even remember what it looks like, to be honest.
Bigger, wasn't it?
It was bigger. Like, it wasn't like a short, and it didn't it have, like, almost tentacles, kind of? Am I misremembering that?
Yeah, I don't really remember.
The Greys just kind of look like...
They weren't technically Greys in Independence Day, so maybe I don't know.
They're just little
gray people.
Yeah, with big head and black eyes.
Oh, yeah, these fucking things. Not the same.
I will say I'm not a fan of looking at pictures of aliens.
Yeah, never mind. It's not.
Oh, is that what they look like?
Allegedly.
I don't even remember that. I just remember Randy Quaid blowing them up.
What does he say? Welcome to planet Earth. He punches that alien.
It's ridiculous.
Did you say you're not a fan of looking at alien pictures?
Yeah, no,
Really?
I'm not. No, they scare me. Yeah, there was something we were watching not that long ago, Angie and I. Or she was watching Unsolved Mysteries, and I walked out, and there was like an alien abduction one, and someone like drew their representation of what was happening. I was like, no, I don't love that. I don't even like looking at that. Yeah, for as much as I love aliens, I don't like picture them. Not a fan.
And Unsolved Mysteries is one of the best shows ever.
Yeah,
I believe we've discussed that on here.
Allegedly, Glenn Dennis, who was a mortician at the Ballard Funeral Home in Roswell, received multiple calls from the Roswell AAF asking about the availability of small caskets, like children's size caskets.
That's crazy.
Again, it all came out way later, right? Like, this is...
Yeah.
There was a lot of time to come up with a story in your head for something like this.
Yeah. He also claims to have received calls asking about what chemicals to use to preserve bodies, specifically ones that have been exposed to the elements. But the calls he was receiving, because the AAF had a mortician, and wouldn't he, those were highly competent people out there.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't he know what chemicals to use?
You would think. But couldn't that question also be related to any other testing that the Air Force or the Army was doing at the time? Like, that doesn't necessarily mean they were because of aliens. You know, like it was reported that it could have been monkeys, or they were trying to use the chemicals on some of the dummies they were testing on to see what would preserve.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it necessarily means that they were for aliens. He might very well have gotten those questions. It does make sense that they would go to their mortician that was on the base,
right,
as opposed to him.
Yeah.
But I don't think necessarily because they're asking him those questions, that means it involved little alien creatures from this crash.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sticking with the timeline of witness statements, Dr. Lejeune Foster, she was a highly accredited neurosurgeon, and she was a former undercover FBI agent during World War II. She supposedly was brought in to study the nervous system of the alien bodies that they recovered. So she was obviously very creeped out by the experience, and claimed that if she said anything about what she had seen, that her medical license would be revoked and she would be killed.
When did she make these claims? Is that also later?
Yeah, but I mean...
And when did Stanton Friedman's book come out? So, like, this research was done in the 70s?
Yeah, and the book
so
came
we're
out in
30
1980.
years later.
Yeah, and the book came out in 1980.
Okay. Did she ever say what she saw?
She said this. Her thing was the same as all the other reports, like 3 feet tall, big head, big eyes, the whole deal.
Was she told to say that?
By who?
Maybe that was the cover up, is that she's just being told this is what you'll say, and you're going to be shaking. Like, maybe she was legit shaken up by what she saw.
Right.
But they said, okay, tell them this. You know, when you're ready to talk, tell them this.
I guess that would be covering up, in 1978. Government technology from 30 years prior. I don't know. Does the
But was it
still make sense
technology,
at that?
or was it what they were doing?
Yeah, that's a good point. It just seems like I can imagine a couple people telling these tall tales, but there's a lot of people with these stories. I just can't imagine all these people made everything up.
Yeah, I don't think that everybody made stuff up here. I think there's just a lot of and you got to think too, some of these people, like the people telling these stories, a lot of it's like secondhand, you know. It's like, well, my grandfather was there that day and this is what he told me, you know, kind of thing.
I know those the people reporting to Stanton Friedman.
Some of them,
these
a lot of
cases.
them, yeah. And then going off of being threatened with death or whatever, Sheriff Wilcox was also accused of threatening local citizens. Like he was ordered to by the AAF.
From whatever they might have seen at the crash site or...
Right. And the whole thing...
So now he's taking it seriously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
After he brushed off Mac.
Regardless of what actually happened, it's a small town and things were quiet. And now all of a sudden you have the full force of the government swarming on him, you know? And his family and friends said it just absolutely ruined his life. Like
I mean, that could be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, the stress of everything.
You go from, you know, small town, little, you know, what are you dealing with on a daily basis? Little store thefts and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden you have the federal government coming in and dictating everything you do.
Yep.
I'd probably quit too.
Later on, Mack also claimed that on July 9th, he was taken by Army officials to retract his whole statement that he had given about finding the debris created by a flying saucer. Mack had now changed his story to what he found was rubber, Scotch tape printed with flowers, sticks, and tin foil.
Okay.
It's like a children's kite.
Right.
That the sheep were afraid of, that everyone, that he didn't know what it was, that couldn't bend or break.
Which I
don't...
don't...
It's a kid's kite.
It's like, why do you have to make him look like a fool? I mean, obviously he didn't make this whole thing up about a kid's kite, you know. I mean, that's a little silly. It's like, why? I don't know. They just kind of made him look pretty silly.
But did they ever release that statement, or is this just him telling us later?
No, they released that it was basically like a weather balloon. Yeah. At the same time that Mac Brazel had backtracked on his story and they got him to change it, Jesse Marcel had loaded up 4 packages of the debris onto a B-29, which was headed to Wright-Patterson Airfield in Dayton, Ohio. And that's another thing that you can kind of hang that goes to, it was something more than a weather balloon, because Wright-Patterson at the time was the location for the Foreign Technology Division. So they back engineered everything that was coming out of Germany.
Right.
So if there was something that we didn't know about, it would make sense for it to go out there so they could take a look at it.
But probably no need to take weather balloons out there.
Right, like make this big of a deal out of it. And so Philip Corso, who we were talking about earlier, that wrote the book The Day After Roswell, he was an Army officer who worked with the research and development team out there. And he claims that in 1961, he was given the files detailing what the government had recovered in Roswell and was instructed to filter this technology from the military into everyday society. So he's claiming that stuff like lasers, Wi-Fi, or what, you know, now we have Wi-Fi.
Right.
Like the Kevlar bulletproof vest came from the metal, like, that we were able to reverse engineer.
How amazing would that be if it was true?
Right? Like touch screens, and supposedly all this shit that we have now came from this, according to Philip Corso.
Yeah. Who was known to embellish
in his nonfiction book.
Yeah, he's the gentleman that wrote that we opened fire on aliens that were still alive in the crash.
It's not very nice of us.
In the middle of the B-29 going to Wright-Patterson, it was redirected to Fort Worth, Texas. And as soon as they landed, Marcel reported to General Roger Ramey and gave him the packages of the debris, which Ramey placed on his desk. Ramey then asked Marcel to come into another room and show him on a map exactly where they found the wreckage. Marcel claims that when they went back into Ramey's office, the 4 packages of the debris were gone and were replaced by clean but completely destroyed parts of a weather balloon. So that's where the famous picture comes from that was posted in the newspaper with Marcel.
With the weather balloon.
Right.
Not the actual parts that were found on Mac Brazel's land.
Right. Marcel also claimed that he overheard Ramey on the telephone saying that the official story would be that it was a weather balloon that crashed.
Ian, what are your thoughts on that?
I hate the term weather balloon.
To this day,
Yes.
you start getting like the twitch when you hear the weather balloon.
Yeah, weather balloon and swamp gas.
So if our listeners start tweeting you and Instagramming you that they believe it's a weather balloon is what happened,
I might have to block them.
you'll have to fight.
Wow, we're already going to the blocking
Blocking
route.
them.
Damn.
You heard that, listeners.
If you really want to get blocked, just tell him how much you hate Kanye West and his Uggo shoes. So they put out weather balloon official statement, final answer. This is what they're going with. They
Right.
had Marcel pose with it,
And,
even reluctantly maybe. He
Yeah.
posed with the weather balloon, and that's what was put out.
and that was the end of the story.
And they're playing it off as, look at these dumb hicks. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's a weather balloon.
Right.
And made them all look like idiots for whatever the situation was.
And that was the end of the story until 1978 when Jesse Marcel was tracked down by Stanton Friedman, and he co-wrote the book with Bill Moore 2 years later.
And so, and this was what, 1978? So we're talking, what, 30 years later.
Yeah.
And then so Stanton just is going to start tracking down Marcel and anybody else he can get a hold of that was a part of this.
Once he got the story from
and this
Jesse
is where
Marcel.
we get some of that second and third hand accounts as well.
Right.
But then he got the story from Marcel about being forced to pose for the weather balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he tracked down as many witnesses as he could and got signed statements for the book. But, I mean, anybody can sign a piece of paper and say they're telling the truth.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And those people get kickbacks from the book.
No.
There was no compensation for any of it.
Uh-uh.
And by this time, these people aren't necessarily feeling any pressure from the government. They're not having people breathe down their neck. So they might just say whatever. If Stanton Friedman maybe was hinting at what he thought was actually happening, maybe they were just agreeable and went along with it and signed. These for what we're hearing about this, they might have just been easygoing people who, just wanted to go along with the story and not have any trouble or not have anybody breathing down their neck.
Well, people like to make interviewers happy sometimes. So if they
Right.
kind of was hinting what
Guess
he
that's
wanted to hear.
The easy way at what I was trying to
Yeah.
get out of my mouth and was not
Sorry.
doing it. No, you did it fine. The Miller Lite goes in easy. It doesn't help me come out with words easy. Miller Lite is not an official sponsor of this podcast, but if they're interested, we're listening. We are at Necronomapod.
big fans.
Please reach out. We would love to have you as a sponsor.
That would be a good sponsor.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Not that our sponsors currently aren't fantastic. Just Brew Coffee and Beardology.
Bud Light, if you want to sponsor us, we'll lie and talk about how good your beer is if you want to sponsor. But
Also that.
Or Coors.
Any beer out there that wants to sponsor us, please just contact us. We would love to drink you.
Natty Light, Bush Light. I know of a barbecue shack in Texas that maybe wants to send some samples too.
I would love to try. I don't know how good it's going to be through the mail.
Shipping dry ice.
Well, beer is good too. We'll take that as well. Barbecue and beer. Coffee and beard oil. The best sponsors in the world.
It's worth noting with Jesse Marcel that he is known to be
Dabbling in drugs.
he's a little bit of a storyteller, so much so that it was included into his military file that he exaggerates the truth. Now, people come back and say that it was added later or that military files are known to be inaccurate at times, but then they want to use military files and stuff as proof. So there's so much contradiction.
And by saying it was added after, you mean that the military might have added after this whole Roswell incident that he's been known to exaggerate
Right.
to make it look like his story you just can't trust.
Right, to discredit
Well, who
him.
got a hold of his military file though? Friedman. And how did he do that?
He's the best in the business.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He originally told Stanton Friedman that he actually flew the B-29 to Wright Patterson that got
The one that
went to Fort Worth, that got
Right.
redirected to Fort Worth. He was never a pilot, and he also claimed that he had shot down 5 enemy aircraft in World War II.
everyone likes to be the hero of their own story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was not a pilot. That's been proven that those aren't even like stretching the truth. It's just flat out lie. Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you have to discount the rest of his testimony on this story, I think, right?
I don't.
I mean, he was there. They put out the army put out the official statement that he was there and recovered a flying disc, is what they put out.
I just feel like, from what I've heard about him, he just embellishes his own self-worth and his own stories.
It makes it suspect, though.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
He never changed what they had found, like the wreckage.
He stuck with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like you said, I think, he just wanted to make himself be
The
way
hero
more
of the story,
important.
yeah.
Right.
We're going to talk about a bunch of theories that now have kind of come out of the Roswell story, including the weather balloon.
Right.
All right. We'll get into that right after this.
We like to drink beer, a lot of it. After a long night of drinking and talking crime and conspiracies, there's nothing that wakes us up and gets us ready to start the day better than Just Brew coffee. With a great selection of roast levels to choose from, you're guaranteed to find one that suits your style. Small batch roasted to highlight the unique features of each coffee bean, Just Brew coffee caters to both casual and hardcore coffee drinkers alike. Since 2010, Just Brew Coffee has worked tirelessly to perfect the roasting process and technique, which has resulted in seriously delicious, always flavorful, and never bitter tasting coffee. If you're already drinking JBC, raise your mug. If you're not, raise your standards. Check them out in social media, and remember, they roast, you just brew.
Check out their new online store at youjustbrew.com and up your coffee game today. Use code NECRO15 to receive 15% off your order of 2 pounds or more.
Before we get into some theories, I want to debunk this whole weather balloon nonsense. Roswell AAF launched 2 weather balloons a day. Jesse Marcel and Cav Cavett would have 100% known what a weather balloon looked like. Mac Brazel also knew exactly what a weather balloon looked like because they flew over Foster's Ranch constantly.
So when did the initial weather balloon report come out? So they retracted the flying saucer one, put out a new press release with a picture and said it was
a weather balloon.
Again, this was all within
It was about a
8
week
days.
later, right? Okay.
Yeah, this is all. Yeah, 8 days. About like 50 years later, the government doubled down the whole weather balloon thing in a 1,000-page report titled The Roswell Report, Fact versus Fiction in the New Mexico Desert. It's almost like like any report that the government puts out like that. It's so long. No one's really reading this.
Minutia.
Yeah.
What prompted them to do this?
That's what I was going to ask.
I think
Where
it's
did this
just
come from?
like all the hype around it. I think
This was just one last government fuck you. Like, out of nowhere, we put out a 1,000-page report telling you all how you're wrong. It's a weather balloon, and you're stupid if you don't agree with us.
Or was there a new Secretary of the Air Force or something like that? Just
Yeah, and I mean, this
wonder.
would have been the 90s, so
Yeah.
maybe with that whole, like that autopsy thing being aired on TV.
Maybe that's what
You're
it
giving
was.
credit to
Yeah.
Fox for this, for the autopsy show.
I mean,
We're giving them credit for this.
you know about it. Everybody in the world at least has heard of it.
You've
you
heard
know,
of Roswell.
Yeah.
But basically, what they said in this report was that they didn't really get into Roswell at all in this report. They just detailed Project Mogul, which Project Mogul was pretty much like a beefed up weather balloon that they would put up into the atmosphere, and it had high powered microphones on it, and it could detect sound waves. And the thought was, or the hope of it was, that it would be able to detect if the Soviet Union was testing nuclear weapons and what they were doing.
So, see, it wasn't a weather balloon. It was a high-powered weather balloon, Ian.
Right, but they made this out to be like it was some secret, like top secret program, but it wasn't. Everybody knew about it. It was talked about in Roswell newspapers like a week before.
I think people are misremembering.
No. No. You sound like you work for the government now. They
What do you think I'm here on the show? What's my purpose on the show?
to spread disinformation.
Yeah. People do drugs, man. And when they do drugs, they see things and then they think it's real. It was proven in the Hills episode. Mac Brazel lived on a farm where they literally grew marijuana. Okay? So
They're growing marijuana out in the New Mexico desert.
absolutely.
What does marijuana have to do with drugs?
Well, it's just part of, Dave. It's a slippery slope from there.
It's a plant, buddy. It's not a drug.
Still.
But yeah, I mean, it was in the news reports of what Mogul was. It wasn't a top secret
There was nothing
thing.
secret. People
and
knew.
if it was top secret and then declassified, there would be tons and tons of paperwork out there about it, you know, in the FBI.gov things. And there's really nothing on Project Mogul anywhere besides just a little bit of information. So they said that was it. They were done with Roswell. It was a balloon. But so then 2 years later, they came out with another report called the Roswell Report, Case Closed.
Why did they do this?
Dude, it's another big fuck you.
Yeah.
Are they just fucking with people? They think it's funny, maybe?
I don't know.
It's just tweaking all these UFO guys?
This one actually might have been a response to the autopsy thing, because this one,
I think you guys are giving that documentary quote documentary way too much
They
credit.
played it off as real back then.
They played all those shows off as real,
yeah. So this one addressed the bodies, and this report claimed that they were test dummies used in Operation High Dive. Now, Operation High Dive was where they were testing out high altitude parachutes. They did use monkeys sometimes, but then they switched over to the test dummies.
PETA got to him.
Yeah, I
Bring
mean,
them
it's pretty shitty that they were just shooting these monkeys out of the side of basically a rocket.
Yeah, because they were like,
Oh yeah.
out. They were fucking. It's crazy not to think that they're testing this stuff.
Yeah.
But you're gonna go like shoot a rocket into space and then eject them from the ship and expect these parachutes to possibly land back down at Earth.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the Joseph Kittinger videos on YouTube?
No.
He was the guy that similar to this, parachuting out of balloons at the edge of the atmosphere from like 20 miles up.
Ugh.
It's insane. Check it out.
They really did it.
Yeah, this guy did it. He free fell 20 miles
That's
from the
fucking
edge of
crazy.
space.
Holy.
The videos are amazing. Joseph Kittinger,
God.
American hero.
Yeah, that's
And
wild.
huge giant fucking balls to jump out of a balloon and
Yeah.
parachute that far down.
Just skydiving in general. Fucking, I couldn't do
yeah.
it. Have you done it?
No. Fuck no.
Officially a bunch of pansies in this room. We're not going to do it.
Fuck that.
Feet on the ground.
I don't even like flying in airplanes, so
It's not pleasant. There's no control.
yeah.
Like you feel that like the plane move like turbulence and you're just like, well, there's literally nothing I can do. If
Yeah,
this
that's
thing
how
goes
I
down,
feel.
like this is it. Like I'm going to sit here and I'm going to die.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. That's it.
So yeah, so they did use monkeys at sometimes. The dummy, if you believe the bodies that people say that they saw, that they were like 3 feet tall, you know, the grays, it doesn't line up because the dummies that were used were 6 feet tall and they weighed 170 pounds. But the biggest thing, and this is a straight fuck you from the government, which is absolutely ridiculous. Operation High Dive didn't even start until 1953. So the explanation is just that people are just remembering it wrong.
Yeah.
People want to believe that there was aliens, so they're mixing up their information.
It's like trying to change your reality. It's telling you.
I think it's the government telling you what the reality is because you're confused.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's ridiculous.
People back then were confused. They were mixing up their story. They got papers once a month. They're not keeping all this information
They had
straight.
no electricity, for Christ's sake.
Beans and crackers in a shack.
You might be a disinformation agent for real.
Damn. Fight
He's
words
like,
up
no,
here.
fuck you. I'm not even joking right now. You might be.
So I mean, yeah, it's just
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
and it's
it makes no
silly,
sense.
and I don't understand. I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't understand why they came out with all these reports because it just made it look even worse, in my opinion.
When no one was really paying attention to this, they keep putting out these reports.
Yeah.
And then people are like, well, what the fuck are these guys? This doesn't make sense.
Right. So let's dive into some theories.
Theories are my favorite parts of
So
the
let's
show.
just start it off with what actually happened.
What do you mean? Like
The
what?
first theory.
Oh, this is what you believe?
I think so. Something close to this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Something.
I agree with you to a degree on this one. So the first theory we'll go over is the Nazi Bell theory. we'll go into it later. The Nazis, they were into so much shit. Hitler was into so much occult shit. And I mean, obviously they were very advanced in their rocket technology and stuff. That's why we grabbed up all those scientists. But supposedly the Nazi Bell would be a 10-foot wide, 12-foot high, anti-gravity bell-shaped craft that was combining rocket and helicopter technology. It was created by the Nazis and fell into the hands of the U.S. government in 1943, who further developed the project.
I've never heard of this.
And so allegedly, the Bell crashed at Roswell, and that kicked off the whole thing. So the whole thing comes from an author named Igor Witowski. He allegedly was shown classified transcripts in August of 1997 by an anonymous Polish intelligence officer who said that he had access to Polish government documents regarding Nazi secret weapons.
So this theory is within the last 20-some years.
Yeah.
This is a newer theory.
Right.
Relatively speaking.
The transcripts supposedly were from an interrogation of an unnamed German SS officer. Witowski claims that he was only allowed to transcribe the documents. It was not allowed to make any copies. There's no evidence that any of this is accurate.
He could have just made this completely up.
Right. So yeah, and like you said, this is a newer thing. And there's like the History Channel, like the Ancient Aliens and different things like that. They really get into the Bell theory a lot. But supposedly the Bell had, around the bottom of it, had weird symbols.
Okay.
Which would be like the hieroglyphics that they allegedly saw when they saw the damage.
Right. There's no real proof that they were, you know, I mean, they were working on pretty high advanced stuff for the time, but I mean, anti-gravity is a little...
Even if it's not the actual Nazi Bell theory, I just think we're talking at a time just out of World War II, getting right into the Cold War. You know, there's the threat of nuclear war now happening. I think that the government was testing something with new technology they might have found from you know, the defeat of the Nazis. They were testing something, doing things that they did not want the American people to know about, be it they were sending actual people into these tests or whatever it might be. And then it all became a clusterfuck of a cover-up that somehow, like you might have said, maybe it was a good accident that they got onto the aliens and UFOs, because then we still don't actually know what it was being tested.
Right.
So I don't know if it's necessarily the Nazi Bell theory, but it was something, I think, along those lines. That's my thought on what this all was.
Yeah, I mean, there's no proof that the Nazi Bell really even existed,
right?
You know,
right?
Because there's theories on it too, as what it was. There's some people that think the Nazi Bell was like a super weapon they were working on that would just absolutely just wreck everything, like stronger than a nuclear bomb. And then some people think it was an aircraft. So,
okay. Yeah, Mike, I think I'm with you. I'm gonna reserve judgment until we get through all the theories, though.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like I said earlier, Operation Paperclip they were going hard on that right at this time with the Nazi scientists. This is a real popular theory, that the crash that it was actually the Russians that caused this crash. So in a book written by Annie Jacobson called Area 51, she has interviews with scientists and engineers who supposedly worked in Area 51. It completely goes against the alien story and puts forth a theory that Stalin was inspired by Orson Welles' radio adaptation of H.G. Wells' novel War of the Worlds, which caused mass hysteria when it was aired.
That aired when?
1938.
So people heard it on the radio and they thought aliens were really invading.
So according to the book, after the Soviet Union seized from Germany at the end of the war, a jet-propelled single-wing Horton Ho 229, and it was said to be the forerunner of the modern B-2 stealth bomber. So there's a lot of people out there who think that they invented stealth.
Right.
And it gets a little far-fetched here. Famous Nazi doctor Joseph Mengele, who conducted a lot of really bizarre, disgusting experiments on especially Jewish twins.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
prisoners in the internment camp.
They call him
Yeah.
the angel of death.
Yep. Supposedly, Stalin took him in after the war and put him up to taking mentally challenged children and disform them, load them up into this space or into this aircraft and crash it out in the New Mexico desert to create a War of the Worlds style panic.
He was trying to scare Americans.
Right.
Yeah.
When was this book put out?
Not that long ago.
'Cause it sounds strangely familiar to a movie from the 70s called The Boys from Brazil. Have you ever seen that? It's about Joseph Mengele creating like test tube Hitler babies on saved Hitler DNA
Interesting.
and trying to kind of replicate Hitler's upbringing to see if he could create another Hitler.
Right.
That's kind of
Wow.
this is kind of similar. I don't know. Seems like that might be where this came from.
Well, I mean, there's like there's like little bits of truth in here. I mean, Mengele did do some of the experiments where there was a couple where he was like adding pieces of skull to kids to make their heads bigger, and it was
Oh yeah, he was fucked up.
yeah, it's disgusting, but
Yeah.
I don't believe
I don't believe this one.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's also pretty fucked up to think about.
it's just nonsense.
Just yeah, him and yeah.
I mean, from what I remember, Mengele was running all over. He was in Argentina and trying to keep ahead of the Nazi hunters and stuff during.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
I don't.
Seems implausible.
So, I mean, those are the two most popular theories out there. It was either the Russians or we were testing Nazi stuff.
That's some dark shit. I don't know.
Let's get to a fun one.
So
This is the one Dave probably believes.
This one, the crash was actually the devil coming to Earth.
Oh, that's plausible.
This theory comes from echoesofenoch.com.
Which is one of those fun Heaven's Gate type websites
It's
that like burns your retinas to look at.
it's probably one of the worst I've ever seen. It's got a yellow background
And you can
with red lettering.
rest assured we will post this website for people to check out on the Twitter.
There's a spinning UFO up at the top of it.
Of course there is.
I mean, this website just goes on forever, and I mean, there's so much information on this website, it's ridiculous. But it's basically all Bible verses that support this theory. So the guy that runs this website in 2003, he moved him and his wife from Detroit out to Roswell, and he opened up his own museum right across the street from the UFO Research Center.
That probably wasn't a smart decision.
No,
I'm
because
sure the locals loved that.
yeah, his big thing was that he was offended by the theory that we were created by aliens instead of God, because that's a common theory out there,
For the
especially like in the
UFO
ancient alien
community
stuff.
and that aliens created us.
Right? That we were kind of
Like from Prometheus.
like we were like a test thing to see how we would turn out.
You remember Prometheus? You saw Prometheus, right?
Yeah, the prequel to Alien.
Alien,
I love that movie.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. But he said that he opened up this museum because churches in Roswell wouldn't stand up to those type of theories. And he was not accepted by the UFO people or the churches in the area. Nobody was
He
a
pissed
fan.
everybody off.
Yeah, nobody was a fan of this guy.
Oh, Dave is.
Such nonsense. Why can't you just live your life, man? Why are you so worried about what everyone else is doing? It's so dumb.
So when I was going through this I don't know, what would you call it? Passage?
Bible verses.
A verse from the Bible. It was Zechariah, the 5th chapter. This was his title. But it was Zechariah. How would you, I don't know. I'm going to let you do this, Mike.
You want me to do this?
Yeah, do this whole thing because I don't even know how to.
So this is the Bible verse that he swears is proof foretold of Roswell and what was happening. So I will do my best to read this. Please bear with us and
Put some heart into it, would you?
I don't think I could.
Read it like it's the Lord's word, please.
Read it like you're one
Sort
of
of
those
beer.
like televangelists.
I couldn't know. I'm not that good. I'm not that good.
Cure us of some disease while you're doing
Heal and feel the power of the Lord.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm ready to go. All right, this is from Zechariah chapter 5, verses 1 through 11. Then I turned and raised my eyes and saw there a flying scroll. And he said to me, "What do you see?" So I answered, "I see a flying scroll. Its length is 20 cubits and its width 10 cubits. Then he said to me, "This is the curse that goes out over the face of the whole earth. Every thief shall be expelled, according to this side of the scroll, and every perjurer shall be expelled, according to that side of it. I will send out the curse, says the Lord of hosts. It shall enter the house of the thief and the house of the one who swears falsely by my name. It shall remain in the midst. The fuck's that word?
Midst?
In the midst of his house and consume it with its timber and stones." Then the angel who talked with me came out and said to me, "Lift your eyes now and see what this is that goes forth." So I asked, "What is it?" And he said, "It is a basket that is going forth." He also said, "This is their resemblance throughout the earth. Here is a lead disc lifted up, and this is a woman sitting inside the basket." Then he said, "This is wickedness." And he thrust her down into the basket and threw the lead cover over its mouth. Then I raised my eyes and looked, and there were two women coming with the wind in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the basket between earth and heaven. So I said to the angel who talked with me, "Where are they carrying the basket?" And he said to me, "To build a house for it in the land of Shinar. When it is ready, the basket will be set there on its base." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Roswell. We'll be back next week.
I don't understand what any of that means.
Oh, yeah, was that English?
I literally have no idea what the fuck I
don't know
just
what
read.
that's-
I'm sorry. I would have tried to have put more emphasis in it, but it just didn't make any sense. And the way it was broken up, it didn't.
Well, I copied and pasted that just from his website, so that is how
No,
that
I
gentleman
agree. I'm
typed
not
that.
saying it was a typo on the note guy over here. I'm saying that I it is what it is. So it's the devil, and that proves it. And so, Dave, I think I agree with you that maybe it was the devil.
The devil.
Yeah, because then he goes in to say that the technology we gained from the crash is moving us closer to the end times.
So does he want the end times or no?
Oh, because the devil sent the crash to give us the technology to move us to end times.
Yeah.
But these religious kooks, they always want the end times. That's their ultimate
But
goal.
this is not a good end time. This is one of the bad end times.
If you want the end times, jump off a fucking bridge.
Hey,
I don't want the end
who
times.
who said this
asshole.
guy was a religious kook? No one said that.
Okay.
It's safe to say.
You got Mac Brazel and Jesse Marcel doing mushrooms in a shack, making up stories about aliens and UFOs. Yet this guy's the kook. It was not the devil.
No.
It was not the devil.
This is his main. This is his proof, and this means nothing to me.
It was literally one sentence about a lead disc, and that. I think he's taken
This is
that.
not a theory. This is just nonsense.
Yeah, I don't even know what you would get out of reading. Like, I don't know.
Everybody interprets the
My
Bible
mind
their
goes
own way.
Listening to you read that, my mind, or just reading it along with you, my mind goes completely blank. Like I have no idea what.
It's just words.
Yeah.
It's just literally just words, I believe.
All right. Next theory. That was terrific reading, Mike. Thank you.
It was a good job.
I don't know about that, but I tried.
This one's my favorite. This was that the Roswell crash were time travelers from the future. I came across this one from the website channelingthecollective.com. They claim to have channeled an entity named Mog, who was one of the crew members aboard the time-traveling ship that crashed in Roswell in 1947.
Is this a recent theory? They just came up with this?
Yeah.
They didn't come up with anything, Dave. They're not just making this up.
Well,
What does their website show? Is it a legit site?
Yeah,
Channeling the Collective?
Oh yeah, it's a for real website. The last time that they posted, if I remember correctly, was 2013.
Okay.
So they kind of, I don't know.
So
what
it's not an
happened to 'em.
Echoes of Enoch type website.
No, it actually, I mean, it looks like they put together a decent website.
They use like Squarespace or GoDaddy or something.
Initially, they said Mogg only spoke a few sentences to him, and he said that it all started with 5 positions of Earth. I was one. I'm a military man. A great problem exists. Our people need to learn to integrate. I'm talking about saving the human race, for they are weapons of precision with no energy background.
Oh, that's clear.
In all fairness, it's a little more clear than the Bible verse I read. A little bit.
So, and then a couple posts later, because it was like a blog that they were updating kind of their travels. They updated with another channeling experience they had with Mogg, and this time Mogg said, this is their actual post about what Mogg said. Mogg is from our future, about 10,000 years into the future. In that time, our planet has become uninhabitable on the surface, and our species has evolved to cope with the subterranean existence. That is partially why they looked so alien. A different oxygen tension exists in that time, and Mogg may also be a fusion of our species today and the others, or Greys, which are another species from another dimension.
All right. See, this kind of sounds like H.G. Wells' The Time Machine with the subterranean Morlocks 800,000 years in the future. They're just poaching stuff. Come on.
It said one of the purposes of traveling back to 1947 was to observe. You have the correction for this, right?
Project Orion.
Project Orion, which involved a nuclear explosion to try and propel an object further into space. The nuclear device exploded too low in our gravity, and the resultant blast was similar to an EMP and disrupted the electronics of Mogg's ship, thus resulting in the crash.
So
Project Orion is real. I don't know about a test going wrong and exploding too close and affecting their ship.
So we just happened to be testing at the moment they were flying by from their time travels.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
According to Mogg.
They also claim to have channeled a ghost named Marie, who was a nurse that was present when the bodies from Roswell were brought into the military base.
Okay.
So Mogg or Zachariah, who you believe in, Dave?
Oh, good Lord. I'm still undecided.
All right.
Well, that was a good theory.
Yeah, so that time traveler one's kind of fun.
Yeah,
I don't believe it for shit, but
no,
it's something, I guess.
I had to dig to find that one too. I was a good 6 pages into the search thing on Google before Mogg popped
Really?
up. Yeah.
So that's really not a popular theory then.
No, I just randomly found that. Yeah.
So I found another theory doing some research.
We're listening.
All right. So a group of alien botanists landed, in that area to grab some samples, but the government showed up and they left one of the aliens behind accidentally. Then this kid Elliot finds the alien hiding in his shed, and then the alien loves Reese's Pieces. Then the government finds them, and Elliot and his friends help the alien get back to the mothership using their flying bikes after the alien phones home.
And then Drew Barrymore grew up to be pretty fucking hot. I got that movie.
You actually knew that
I
one?
knew the movie.
What?
I'm so proud of myself.
Damn it.
Celebratory beer. Knew that movie. I had no idea what you're talking about till you said Elliot. And I got it.
For a second, I thought you were going to go into a Mac and Me.
Nice, Mac and Me.
That movie's fucking god-awful.
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know that movie.
It's basically like a Coca-Cola and McDonald's commercial.
Yeah, right.
The whole time.
Really?
It's ridiculous.
Well, I enjoy McDonald's.
And at the end, the
I'd love if
aliens
they were a
are
sponsor of the show.
The aliens are dressed up like JFK and his wife, and they're in the convertible thing, driving away all happy and peaceful.
That doesn't sound pleasant.
It's a weird ass movie.
All right, well, you got me. That's not a real theory. I wasn't expecting you to have known that.
I have seen that movie. Incidentally, I have. Maybe that'll be the new thing. You got to come up with a movie every time that I haven't seen. It won't be very difficult for you.
So I'm with you on I believe it was just some weapons testing.
It was some weapons testing, and they were probably doing some shady shit with it, I believe, that they really didn't want to get out. They probably didn't necessarily want the alien UFO theory to get out, but through miscommunication is my thought that it it got put out.
Right.
They maybe tried to backtrack a little bit, and then we're like, well, fuck it, let's just go with it.
I mean, think about the time. We're less than 2 years out from World War II being
Right.
over, and with the new Soviet menace and the race to keep up and develop new weapons. I'm sure that's what happened.
Yeah,
What
I mean,
say you?
like I love Stanton Friedman. I mean, I really like all the big time UFO guys. But my favorite one is Jacques Vallée, because he goes into all like the interdimensional stuff, like the stuff that I agree with. A few years ago, he was doing an interview and he said that he felt like this whole thing is just a dead end. Like there's no reason to even look into this. And I
Really?
I agree with him. I think it's just so muddied up by all these different accounts.
Yeah.
So what's an example of like one that he thinks is worth like diving into?
Like the Betty and Andreessen abduction, stuff like that.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, we'll
maybe
do
touch
that
on
one.
that one at some point.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. But yeah, I think it was something that had to do with Operation Paperclip, that we were testing something, and then like we were saying earlier, I think it was a happy accident that they said flying saucer in the thing, because then they realized, hey, we can just let people believe that these are UFOs and we can test whatever the fuck we want now.
I'm with you. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I fully 100% believe in aliens and the whole interdimensional thing, but I think this was just the government.
Isn't that crazy? Like we said, the granddaddy of them all, the Roswell one, and we're gonna go unanimously as being a big flop.
Yeah,
It's a good story. I've been through Roswell. It's an interesting place.
I want to go to that McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's shaped like the UFO.
Yeah. Alien
would be
stuff
fun.
everywhere. Yeah, it was a neat little town.
It's our second plug for McDonald's this week. They really need to throw us some money for being honest about things.
So yeah,
That's Roswell.
it's a fun one, but
Interesting but implausible.
yeah, it was definitely something from Operation Paperclip or Project
I think we're
Paperclip.
pretty unanimous on that one.
Yeah.
All right, Ian, anything else with Roswell you want to mention or touch on? Did we cover it all with Roswell?
I think we nailed it down to a decent timeline. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kind of other stuff, theories, people you can look into with this. I mean,
Well, hopefully our listeners let us know. Reach out to us and let us know what they think.
yeah, you can go down the rabbit hole of Chuck Wade or Frank Kaufman. I mean, there's all kind of people that come in here and come up with their own theories and their own recollections of events.
All right, Dave, what do you got for us?
I got a couple shout outs for our Instagram followers. Emo Kids Beware, Mari D, Aeon Flex, DSP.NA, and Beer and Beards. And then a couple of great iTunes reviews from Witchy Amber and Coal Miners GD. Appreciate the support, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, and all those Instagram shout outs, those were people that had shouted us out this past week, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for your
Either
support.
plugged us on one of their posts or did something to help spread the word about us.
Yeah.
Ian, any shout outs from your end? Anything
Nope,
you need?
I got nothing.
You good to go?
Yeah.
Annalise, you got anybody to shout out?
Ashley from Steubenville, I'm watching you.
All right. Thank you, Annalise. We'll see you next week. Make sure to give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are at Necronomipod. Make sure you follow us on Twitter if you got it, Necronomipod. We're going to be posting a lot of stuff this week on Twitter. We have a lot of Instagram followers and people on Facebook, but not as much on Twitter. So we don't want you to miss anything. Give us a follow on there. You can listen to us on iTunes, Castbox, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube. We're now on YouTube. No videos yet, but you can stream our episodes. So I think I hit them all. Ian will correct me if I'm wrong, but
I believe that was it.
that's about where you can hear us every week. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Ready for a quote on beer?
Cheers.
Absolutely.